home our very own Mr. Chucky Brown.
Come back here and see some former teachers and people that I went to school with. I went to school with Leroy over there. Leroy was a big joke in the school, so it was funny to see Leroy, and others. And I mean, I just can't even explain how much it meant to me to first of all go off. And the first thing I think about when I go away is representing my family and representing North Brunswick. And just being a positive. One thing I like to institute is that I'm not a former slogan, I'll always be a slogan.
It had to be kind of a humbling experience for you tonight. Had your family out there, and like you said, everybody you knew. What did it feel like out there?
Like I said, words couldn't explain it. It's never happened to me before. It's just a special thing. And, like I said, other than having my kids. This is probably the biggest thing that's pretty much happening. Pretty much, I know playing in the NBA that was great and everything, but you just want a minute. Tonight is a night where it's just your night. So
right.
It's never really been like that for me.
Right. That's a good point. Coach Baldwin, noted how much you've helped out the school, and I think a lot of pro athletes, it's easy for them to forget where they came from. Doesn't seem like you've done that.
Nah, man, my mom still lives here, my sister still lives here.
So they won't let you.
Yeah, that too, but I come down here a lot. I still talk to a lot of guys that I went to high school with, so, this is where I got my start. If it wasn't for, Coach Gibson helping me out along the way at North Brunswick, because I wasn't always the best person to deal with. Being young, you do crazy stuff when you're younger. So, I've been thrown out of practice and stuff like that. But it was good for me in the long run. So, without the help of the people at North Brunswick, I wouldn't be where I am today. So.
Right, and I guess maybe you were pretty good in high school, but maybe Coach Gibson helped get Valvano down here. And
yeah, well, he had a connection with Coach Valvano, and a lot of people didn't know about me. I had moved down here from New York, and people didn't know about me. And he took me right up there to play, and Coach Valvano liked me. And by the time Carolina and Duke started recruiting me, and Wake Forest, my mind was made up already, so it was a little too late. So, Coach Gibson really helped me out along the way. I'd come in on Saturdays and do a little extra work with him, because he had played Division I college ball, and he just helped me out along the way. He always gave me advice, always stayed on me, and that's what I needed.
Right, and you were well traveled in your NBA career, and I feel like that would probably help you in the scouting job you got now, because these are guys that aren't on 10-year, $100 million contracts.
Right. Yeah, it helps me out. It helped me out being a player. I was a player that had to do a lot of little things.
Right.
So it kind of, it's easy for me to spot a guy that can play that somebody may not think can play. So, I've had some pretty good luck with spotting good talent. Like I coached Will Bynum, who's now with the Pistons. I told Coach to pick him. When I was an assistant coach, we picked him. He got called up to Golden State, and the rest is history now. He's making some good money. James Thomas, who's overseas, making good money, played at Texas, who also played in the NBA. Anthony Grundy was another one that I coached.
Yeah, from state.
So I mean, I've been able to have a good eye for it, so I've been lucky.
And honestly, 12 teams, 13 years, that could be looked at in a positive manner. You travel the world.
I look at it in a positive because that, in some places I went twice, so,
right.
I always thought of myself as a guy that, there may be some better players out there, but nobody was going to work harder, so I always tried to work hard.
Right. And I thought interesting that you mentioned you might be trying to come back a little more often. Are you getting a little more settled in Cary? Or?
Yeah, I'm getting a little more settled in Cary. I've been traveling a lot. I've been out in LA the last 4 years, so it was hard for me to get back home. I'd come home maybe in the summertime, but then come September, I'm right back out there. So this is really the first time that I've been able to be home. It's just been great to take my kids to school and be home when they get home. I never really done that. We spent Christmas together, and I hadn't really been able to spend Christmas with my family since high school probably, because when I got to college we were going to Hawaii. We were going to all these tournaments, and so it was really hard. So Thanksgiving, I got to spend Thanksgiving with my family. Most of the time we were going to some tournament, Alaskan shootout or something like that when I was in college too. So and then the long pro career. So it has its pluses and minuses. The plus is you get to you make a lot of money and you get to travel and see the world. But the minus is you don't get the same type of quality family time that say a normal John Doe would get or whatever you call it.
So doing that now. Well, welcome home, and
yeah, thank you.
We appreciate it, Chucky.